Hello. Hello guys. I just wanted to make a video really quick because, you know, a lot of times, well, I think most of us feel this way when we start this business, whether this is the first time or this is the 10th time that you've started this type of business. A lot of times we think, which is true, right? We need to grow our network. We need to, make sure we're putting our content out there. We need to make sure we're doing engagements with other people, right? We go through our IPAs list. We need to make sure that we follow up with our customers. Like there's those like kind of the mechanics of it that we need to do when it comes to this business. But then there's the other side. There's that internal side. There's that self-talk side. There's that mindset side that is also super important. And I know for me, when I started, sometimes we think, okay, I just need to put a post out there, but where is that coming from, right? When you're doing a post, it's coming from here, right? It's coming from here, and it's coming from here. When you go and you're having a conversation with someone, right? It's not just some copy and paste message. Like, where's that going to come from? It's going to come from here, and it's going to come from here. So we got to work on this and how we talk to ourselves and what we can do, specific things we can do to make sure that when we go into a conversation that we have that confidence, that we have that self-confidence, but also that when we leave a conversation, maybe, that person's wanting to wait another week or another month, or maybe they're not ready yet, or maybe they're like, you know what, I don't think this is for me. This is way too expensive and I don't want anything to do with this, right? Especially those hard conversations like that, or maybe you had someone who you enrolled as a promoter and they were so excited and then they just ghost you for a week and you don't know what happened to them, or they fall off after a month. And so those things that we can do now when you first start, or even if you've been in this for a while, that you can do now to help you, that when those moments come, you prepared yourself mentally for it, right? So some things that I did strategic wise is, when I first started this business, my biggest thing that I struggled with, I used Pinterest so much. So if I was struggling with comfort zones, if I was struggling with doubt, if I was struggling with fear, my biggest thing was people pleasing, I literally went to Pinterest and I would type people pleasing quotes. I would type comfort zone quotes. I would type, fear quotes, self-doubt quotes. There are so many good, just those little, like tiny little nuggets of wisdom. And I would write them down. And then I would put them like on sticky notes on my wall. And I also looked up affirmations. So an affirmation specifically for people pleasing, whatever it is that you struggle with, affirmations specifically with self-doubt, affirmations specifically with body image, affirmations with those type of things, right? And so I put them on there, and I'm telling you, over time, when you look at a wall and it says, I am a beautiful person, it's a no, not right now, or I don't need others to validate my worth, and you read that, I believe in me, and it's about progress, not perfection, like all these different affirmations that I would see and read and say to myself, it gets ingrained in you, right? And so all of a sudden, it's not like it's magic, right? It's not like you start doing affirmations and you start, filling your mind, and all of a sudden just another situation comes and you handle it perfectly. It takes time to really do that. But then it's like all of a sudden, a conversation comes with the potential, and maybe it doesn't work out like you wanted to, but then you have that like, okay, sometimes it's just a no, it's not a right now. Or, maybe your aunt says, I don't think what you're doing is, really all that great, and I think it's a scam, and it's one of those pyramid schemes. You can, all of a sudden, instead of you being, oh, like, I'm so upset about this, and I can't believe she'd say that to me, and who would say that to me, and that must be true. And it's like, instead of that, it's like, because you've been saying those things to your head, all of a sudden when Auntie Susie says that, you go, I don't need others to validate my worth, right? So that was something that was really good to me, and it really helped me with content, because when I started, I shared about my journey and all those things, but I also shared about things I struggled with, right? So I would talk about my struggle with people pleasing. I would talk about, because that was a big one for me. That was a huge one, and I knew that's what it was. I talked about how, I talked negatively to myself. I would talk about how when I would look in the mirror, I actually avoided looking in the mirror. I didn't want to look in the mirror. I didn't want to take pictures. I didn't want to look at pictures of myself. So, it's so crucial to do this. And I think sometimes we can do the mechanics part, but what is going to keep pushing us is when we work on this part. So affirmations, going on Pinterest, listening to podcasts. So I listen to, Joel Osteen, Stephen Furtick, obviously some of our leadership, like Jess Kearns, has her podcast. There's so many other amazing, just motivational people. There's Eric Thomas, there's Rachel Hollis. You just type in on YouTube motivational videos, right? So what I do too, and what I've been doing lately that's made a difference, because here's the thing, I see a difference in myself when I start my morning, and as soon as I wake up, I go like this. And I just go, and then I'm doing stuff with the kids. I'm trying to answer messages. I get frustrated, right? It can get really easy to get frustrated. So, and then you get overwhelmed and you're like, I can't do this business, right? Because I'm trying to do all the things. Look at how many notifications I have right now. It's like craziness. But what I do is I've gone, okay, I see that. I put it down. I wake up. I take my capsules. And what's really helped me too is I'll wake up and I have my notebook. And I like to write out my prayers, because honestly, for me, even if I say it or if I think prayers, I'll just go off into the distance and start thinking about something else. So there's something for me with writing them that really helps. So I write out prayers. I write out affirmations. I write out, thank yous, my gratitudes, and things like that. There's something about that. It just sets you in a good tone, and it makes you, it could just be like, thank you, that I have eyes that can see. Thank you that I have hands that can pick up my baby. Thank you for, the bed that I had to sleep on last night. Thank you for the AC because it's humid right now in Florida. You know what I mean? So, those type of things, right? So also, the last thing I kind of really want to touch on. So, you can look up affirmations. Pinterest seriously has a plethora of stuff. The more positive, if you grew up in the church, that whole saying or song, oh, be careful little eyes, what you see, and oh, be careful little ears, what you hear. It's true, right? When you're constantly listening to negativity or listening to drama or gossiping and all those things, it gets to you. So for me, really listening to as much positive, motivational type content really, really helps. And it lets me know I'm not alone. When you hear stories things about Rachel Hollis or all these other people who are motivational speakers, and you hear what they've gone through, just that feeling that you're not alone, or reaching out to a side sister. The other thing for me was with that comparison, right? Because it was, a 17 month journey to get to 12K. And so, during that 17 months, I saw other people advance quickly than me. I saw, people making more money than me earlier. I saw all of that, and that can get to you. And I'm not going to lie, if I'm going to sit here and say I always had a great attitude and never got jealous. It was, right? There were times where I did, I would look at that and be like, how in the heck, But see, that's not going to help us. And that's the thing that I came to grips with, is the thoughts that I'm saying to myself. First of all, it's not fair to that other person. I don't know their story. I don't know what they've gone through. So what helped me is to engage with that person. That person who just went 4K when you've been trying to go 4K, that person who went 12K, that person that's gone 40K, message them, congratulate them, say, that's so amazing that you did that. That is such a huge accomplishment. Can you give me your top 3 tips? And a lot of times, once you do that and you realize they're human and they go through things too, and they've gone through things they've experienced life, it kind of makes them human, right? It doesn't just make them this picture or this post with a badge and, a rank, right? There's a person behind that. There's a person that's really gone through struggles and has really gone through things. So that was really helpful. And then obviously the trainings that we have, right? Just listening to something that I know can help me, because if I just sit and do nothing and I sit in my thoughts, it's gonna be like this circle, right? I'm upset about my business because my business isn't going right. So I'm going to stop working on my business because I'm frustrated. But now, because I've stopped working on my business, now I'm really not getting results, it just is this cycle. So the way to counteract the frustration with your business is to work more on it because then you're going to see results, and then that's going to give you that encouragement. So, but the biggest thing is like, you know, when you find those things of frustration and you do get frustrated, I just want you to picture for a second, like just picture for a second that mom that has like 3 kids, and she is just so exhausted and she is so done, and she has poured her heart out to her kids, and she is just losing her ever-loving mind, and she does not know what else to do. Like, that's who I want you to think of. I want you to think of that woman who is so in debt, and she has been spinning her wheels for so long, and she just needs a way. She's already working 3 jobs and she still can't pay her bills, and she needs something else that she can do that can help her. That's going to push you. I want you to think about those people that are meant to be on your team, that are meant to join you, those customers that are meant to join you, that are meant to see your story, that are meant to hear your story. That's what really helps me and pushes me on those times where I didn't have a team, when I didn't have a team. And I think also being so self-aware of yourself and knowing, you know, I'm not going to have it perfect all the time. I'm not going to do all the right things. I think that was the most beneficial and amazing thing I ever did for myself, was to realize it's not about being perfect. It's about having progress. It's about experiencing growth. So I think the minute I stopped looking left and right, you know, and it meant there was a period of time I had to unfollow people that were a part of the business because my mind wasn't in a right space. And so I had to unfollow those people, and I had to just put my head down and focus on myself. So I think for me, and it's just getting into that routine and giving yourself grace, and just knowing, like, I mean, I had informations like that too. Like, it's not about perfection, it's about progress. Because I struggle with, you know, I'm a perfectionist sometimes, and I struggle with that. So I think it's just to be critical about yourself and know, okay, you know, I could wake up earlier. I could, you know, interact with more people. I could have posted today. I could have, you know, done this or done that. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not a failure. You're not a horrible person by knowing like you could have done a bit more. It's actually good news because it tells you you could do a little bit more. And so it's just like, literally, you can take something that you would normally take as a bad thing and you just have to flip it. But that takes time. So I really encourage, whether, you know, if you have faith, writing out your prayers or just writing out your gratitudes or writing it out. There's something about writing it, reading those books. You know, Girl Wash Your Face was the first self-development book I ever had, and it changed my entire life. And not picking up your phone right away, like just waking up and just getting your mind right, getting in your routine, taking your 3 steps, you know, getting your kids ready if you have kids, doing all that stuff, kind of doing what you need to do. There's nothing wrong that if it's 12 o'clock and you still haven't posted, you still have plenty of time. Right? So, I think a lot of times I would rush myself. So it's just like telling myself it's okay, just talking more positively to yourself. So I think that's really it. I think I hope that was helpful to you, from someone that, you know, it has been a growth journey for me. I think I just really zoned in on that. You know, on those times where you're getting frustrated about other people, you can't control other people. You can control yourself. So I just really zoned into my journey. And then I thought, you know what? If worse comes to worse right now and all I'm doing is thriving for free, then that's what's up, right? Like, I knew what the products were doing for me. So that wasn't the problem. It was that was the problem. So I think that's the biggest thing behind the scenes, what I've done personally to really help this. That I'm telling you, the affirmations were like life-changing for me. It really, really, really helped me. And the Pinterest quotes, and they helped me with content too. And I use Pinterest a lot, like, you know, content ideas, Instagram content ideas, post ideas. Like, there's just those cute little pictures you can save on your phone and use. So, yeah. So anyways, I hope that was helpful. That's just a little bit of the behind the scenes mindset stuff, and you've got this. Okay.